Alrighty, welcome everyone to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well. I hope everyone's staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today, I'm going to be working on some Blood Reavers for a particular purpose, which I guess everyone will find out soon enough-ish. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go turn on my lights because I'm a silly person and didn't turn my lights on. Didn't turn the lights on the table. Going great. Of course. Always off to a great start. So. Alrighty. Hope everyone in the comments there is doing great. Hope you're all doing well. And if you're watching along, wherever you may be watching from, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, whatever, shout out and say what you've all been working on Warhammer wise or other hobby related wise this past week. So, like I said, I'm just working on some Blood Reavers for reasons we're going to, everyone should see soon enough. We've got something cool planned for the birthday, and so as far as to say, I need some Blood Reavers painted for it. So just start layering down. So I've done a Rhinoxide base and just a non-oil wash. And this would be the base for the skin. And if you're watching, let us know what you're also working on. I'm a very, very happy hobbyist at the moment because I'm finally going to get some Luminous Realm Lords and going to get to paint them, which is going to be amazing. But need to get this done. So I've got a small corn force I'm going to put together. Well, I say small, but there's 60 Blood Reavers on my desk at the moment. There's about 60 odd Bloodlers as well, plus some other pieces. So that'll all be getting worked on next. So normally I would need Chaos Black Spray to do this darker skin tone, but I didn't have any Chaos Black Spray, so normally it's Chaos Black and you leave in the recesses when you're painting the Rhinox some of the Chaos Black. So what I'm doing is I've done Rhinox as the base color instead, and doing a non-oil wash over that, and then I'll start applying my layers and stuff. So be cool. I've decided to go half and half with all my Blood Reavers, so I just randomly put 30 of them aside, even though I've got a unit of 40, so I don't actually know if I've got a unit of 20 because I've got the 2 different weapon options that you get for them. So we'll get doing them. So yeah, I just picked 30 at random, so one unit might have more of one skin color, the other might have more of the other. Well, they might be perfectly even if that's just happened to randomly go. And Garblack Games, welcome mate. Hope you're doing well. Garblack Games there is a good friend of the channel. If you haven't checked out his channel, definitely go check that out, especially if you're into RPGs and all that stuff. So if you're into all that sort of stuff, they do some fantastic RPGs. And morning, Soren. But yeah, definitely if you're into RPGs, and hopefully I should be doing something with Garblack Games. So hopefully I'll invade their channel at some point. Hopefully soon. What do you? Just got your first cup of coffee nice and early over there in Texas. Cheers, man. I'm glad you enjoyed the actual play for Soulbound. It was good to finally get it started. So, probably the first of many, because we were talking about potentially doing the new edition of 40k around the horizon as well. Potentially doing Wrath and Glory. That's it. Wrath and Glory will be fun. And yeah, Soren, I'm totally getting Lumineth this week. I cannot wait for those Lumineth Realm Lords. They should be a ton of fun to put together, build, paint. And I worked it out. 3 of those boxes, that's a 1,000-point army. I mean, that'd be cool. But so yeah, that'll be fun. Thinking like for Wrath and Glory, we want to potentially do like maybe Marines preferably, so we'll probably end up working up like doing a custom Space Marine chapter or make something up. But yeah, it should be great. I've heard good things of Wrath and Glory. I've not actually played it yet myself. But most of my fondest memories from like RPGs are all in Warhammer 40k ones released by Fantasy Flight Games are generally where my fondest memories are, because my first RPG was actually Deathwatch by them. I was collecting Deathwatch Space Marines in like proper 40k, and I was like, oh, this is a Deathwatch book. I've never seen this before, so I picked it up, not realizing what it was, and that sort of started the rabbit hole of RPGs and stuff for me. And so from there, I've played lots of different games. So, I guess a little sneak peek for people is you should be expecting to see some original AOS 1 iOS launch content coming out on the channel during the birthday month. And that's why there's Blood Reavers being painted, I guess. I won't say exactly what, but we'll be doing some stuff to sort of reminisce about the start of the game. So once I've got this washed down, I can probably start working on the other 30 and start doing their skin once I've got this washed down. And once the wash is dry, I can start layering up some Doombull Brown. And then from there, so the idea of the scheme is it's going to be Rhinoxide washed with Nuln Oil, layer with Doombull, highlight with Tuskor, and then sort of fine highlight with Cadian Flesh Tone will be the skin color for this darker skin tone. I've really come into like a lot lately in all my armies of like, especially my cities army, of like actually mixing skin tones up, using various different skin tones. I think it just adds a bit more realism to it. It makes, everyone has the same color skin. Oh, still in. Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember you saying something about that. Sorry. You got your computer working at least. No work today, or you've got to head off to work soon? Yeah. Oh, heading off to work soon. The fun times. I'm actually pretty excited because, like, later tonight as well, football's back. The English Premier League comes back, and I can't wait. I'm actually quite excited to have some football back. Don't realise how much I miss it. So it's been a good week. Been back at work full time this week, which has been lovely. Which has been great. And obviously, like, I guess since I've last done this one, because obviously last week I wasn't on the hobby. I didn't do my hobby hangout last week because I was over on AOS Coach running a Soulbound teaser game, I guess, for them. So nothing there. But yeah, since last it's been good. I've had 2 weeks back at work now, which has been great. That means more money for hobby. And the Sinful District Grand Tournament is a go, and people are signing up all the time, which is great. I can't wait to run that GT. I really do love that. Nice, sorry. That'd be great, man. Like, it does get me motivated. It keeps me honest. Like, so I know I can't come back next week with working on the same thing, or at least on the same thing, the same part of the same thing. I know I need to show progress in my time off. So, like, these weekly hobby hangouts really do me quite a lot of good. So they keep me honest and keep me progressing in the hobby side of things. But if you get stuff to start streaming yourself painting, I will be there every time I can. I mean, you know what it is. Like, everyone who, like, I watch absolutely anyone who puts content out, because it's just important to support each other, regardless of what sort of content it is. I mean, as long as it's not, certain things. But we won't go there. Keep this nice and friendly. I did actually finish some of the beastmen, as you can see. I got some of them on their bases. I just need to finish up the other 20 bases to get the other 20 gore on. I've almost finished the Bulgars, but I'm starting to really get dragged on with the beastmen, so I just sort of moved on to something else for a little bit, and I'll go back and finish them off, because they were just sort of becoming a bit of a drag. So I've got the Bulgars probably 3/4 done. The Shagoff just needs his base done. I've still got the Gargant, the Bray Shamans are halfway done, and the Giant to go. Oh, and a Zangor Shaman I got to paint up as well. I decided to do my Beastmen on the same basis I've done on my Zinch, mainly because that way the Zangor Shamans can, and Zangors in general, can just switch over between the two as I want to use them. This should tell you how excited I am for the English Premier League to come back. This mug. I'm going to drink out of my football mug. Alright, so just check my paint recipe behind me. Now, do I have that paint into my recipe? Yes, I do. I have flayed one flesh. So we're going to chuck the base coat down of flayed one flesh on the other 30 while waiting for this first lot to dry. So more of them. There's 60 of them to do. And so let's start getting that base coat down. Don't need to be too fussy about it. If it doesn't get in all the recesses, that's fine, because we're going to put a wash down after this anyway. So the wash will go in the recesses because I've used race bone as a base. So yeah, I am really excited for this weekend. Luminous Realm Lords coming out is just going to be fantastic. I can't wait to get my hands on those models. Pretty sure I decided on my scheme. I'll probably be like next weekend's hobby hangout. I'll probably work on some test models. Just getting the scheme all ready. The brush is a little bit too wet at the moment. These are cool, like nice brushes. They get into all the gaps right. They're just cheap art store ones, but they hold a lot of water. And so yeah, they just hold a little bit too much water in them, so we just have to sort of change over. So I've got a few, but they're nice. They get into all the creases and stuff really well. They've got nice bendy bristles. Really do like these Blood River models. I think they're absolutely fantastic models. Just something. I like the Mountain Pool. I don't think there's a model in the range that I don't like, honestly. And that's why I've been so avid a sort of supporter of them. I love the Hammer Bros. I do think still my favorite are probably the Spearmen. Or Pikemen, as they are, because they have pikes. I'll do a full video on their rules and stuff, and all the reveal we have the rules and stuff later. But yeah, I was liking what I saw with all the rules for the Lumineth. So they seemed pretty cool, and they seem to have some like really cool, fun abilities to play around with. I was already starting to like cheek away in my head how to make use of them. If you are sitting in the chat, let us know what you're working on hobby-wise, if you're doing some hobby or anything hobby related. I'm always happy to chat and talk whatever people are working on. Yeah, please, in the next INF book, give Namadi a 2-inch range. Yeah, please, in the next INF book. Whoops. That was my own phone, some reason, playing my video in the background. Good job, me. Yeah. But I think the 3-inch range is like really representative of like how they fight. And well, like they are pikemen, so GW logic is spears are 2, so pikes must be 3. But yeah, so it should be interesting to see how all the Lumineth do, and what like other stuff we're going to get. Straight away, that like a sub faction where you get the extra piece of Aether Quartz seems really good right off the bat to me. To me, that just looks really good on paper to me. Getting extra Aether Quartz straight up. Once I got all this corn stuff done, I'm going to have to start working on. I need to get the corn terrain piece. Actually, I don't actually own it, so that'll be on the purchase list. No, nothing does seem over the top. Like they seem strong, but they don't seem oppressive, and I think that's the important thing. Being strong is not a bad thing. I think some people maybe get a bit over the top when they see a good rule and they're like, oh, this is really good. It's like it's fine to be really good. It's fine to be good. It's when a rule becomes oppressive and for lack of a better word, broken, is when it becomes an issue. I think that's, yeah, when stuff becomes a problem. Crematorians. Yeah, no crematorians. And hey, Ben. I'm glad to see you here, man. Got my lovely beard game going. Yeah, and like, it is at the end of the day very different once you get the rules in your hands and yeah, people's opinions change pretty drastically once the book's out. That being said, as soon as Petrifex came in, like as soon as I saw +1 save on Petrifex, I knew they were the go one. I called Petrifex from day one that was the thing. And my +1 save is just so good. But we all know that's not what makes Petrifex great. It makes Petrifex good. But no. Yeah, if you're just joining us, there seems to be a few more people filling in the chat from around the place. We're working on some Blood Reavers for some cool AOS 1 content that we'll be releasing during July to coincide with the birthday. So hopefully I can get all this done and we can start getting out some AOS 1 content for you all. I don't necessarily mean I don't mean playing AOS 1. I mean just sort of story and narrative driven from around that time. Which one was that one? And most of those building battalions are like experimental. I don't know whether they'll be like top tier competitive in any way, but I don't think any of them were unplayable in any way. I think all of them had an idea or a gimmick at least. I know there's a couple of them that I think are pretty good. I'm less confident in the Phoenicium and the Hammer Hauling Lancers. I'm pretty confident in that one. Because the idea is it should be killing so much that I got a breakage here. That Hammer Hauling Lancers one, you should be killing so much that it doesn't matter. I know people who've run lists very similar to it and done well. So yeah, there's that with the Hammer Hauling Lancers. I know that one works. Podcast, trying to remember the podcast name. Give me a sec. I'm going to check out my podcast because there's a podcast that goes into a very similar list using the Hammer Horn lenses where the guy did pretty darn well. Just let me go into my podcast and find the pod. I think it might have been Priority Roll. That was the podcast that did an episode on it. Can't quite remember the episode number. I'm pretty sure it was Priority Roll. Was the name of the podcast that did an episode on Hammer Horn lenses. But yeah, that one definitely works. Won't work against everything and probably does need like a bunny run to some degree, or like it needs some favorable matchups to some degree, but I definitely think it can work. The one I'm most confident in out of any of those lists, though, for the building a battalion thing that I've done so far, is the Scourge Privateer one. Why? Because I've just played so much Scourge Privateers, I know what I can do with them. I don't think there's anyone that's played Scourge Privateers as much as I have in the world. So just so many cool models in these goddamn Reavers. Like, everyone's just so great. Even like the dual-handed axe dudes. Like, I know these are the terrible option for them, but I wanted a unit of 20 of them. Just why? Because they're cool. Yeah, so building and painting all these up. So we'll do some AOS 1 themed sort of content. So we should have some bat reps coming up of like some of the early missions out of the big books. We'll probably end up playing through those campaigns. Probably like be doing that throughout the year. It's like playing through all the Realm Gate. And chatting about doing like a Realm Gate Wars campaign. But yeah, so that's like the plan for them is we want to do some Realm Gate Wars sort of stuff. Plus, like, I'm just enjoying painting like random armies at the moment. Like, probably would never have painted a corn army any other time. Honestly, I'm not that big a fan, but now I'm painting them. I'm like, I really like these models. I can paint some more. I gotta go grab some Mephiston red spray because, like I said, I've got like 60 bloodletters, 60 or 70 bloodletters there that need paint. And we'll get those bloodletters painted up. I've got a Bloodthirster, Korgraf, Mighty Lord of Corn, a Bloodstoker, some sort of hero. He's got like a Wrathhammer and a Flail or something like that. I can't remember the name of the character. And yeah, a bunch of bloodletters. And that'll all get painted up. Oh, and as you can see too, there, picked up a Beastgrave and a whole bunch of Warhammer Underworlds. Going to be playing that with the wife, so be running through all that lovely stuff with the wife, which will be fun. And yeah, so that should be some fun to do. Look forward to painting all that lovely stuff up. So, now we need to get a wash of Rackland Flesh Shade all over all those much more pastier skinned guys. When I find my Flesh Shade, have it somewhere. Where have I put it? Agrax, Gotan, Quelia, Rackland. Found it. So now we'll just start whacking on this wash of Rackland. difference. And once this is on, we should be able to start layering up the other guys. And so that's what we're getting. See, like, it's different. I mean, the light's terrible, but you can sort of starting to see the difference between the two. So now we're just slapping on this Raccoon Flesh shade all over the skin. Which is cool. And yeah, once again, if you're joining us just now, let us know what you've been working on hobby-wise this past week and share or anything other hobby-related that you've been up to. Anyone read any cool Age of Sigmar novels or stuff lately? Or even Warhammer in general? That's good. Marvian. No, Marvarian. That's it. Got it. How are we, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Right, just working on some Blood Reavers tonight. All 60 of them that we are trying to get done. What have you been working on? Oh, cool. You're the guy that recently got the privateers. Awesome, man. Privateers are my jam. They're not here. They're actually over on the other cabinet, but you know, my full 2,000 point army is over there. Awesome, man. Glad to see you on the channel. Anyone who has privateers is my favorite. So you are. So still working on your privateers then? I've seen a few pictures of them go up, which is pretty cool. And it's always the problem with like YouTube names is that you never sort of connect the dots as to who's who. Oh dear. So Siren now has a 40k army? Yeah, now you have 5,000 points of Necrons. Yeah, that's a lot of Necrons to spend. I'm pretty tempted, like, just to grab the new box set that comes out for 40k. I mean, I want those Marines. Those Marines look stunning, as do the Necrons as well. And like my biggest thing with like not collecting Necrons was I hated the warrior models with a passion. So now that they've been updated, yeah, like, and my variant, like, that's all it is, man. Like, it will just take time. You got to understand your first models will not be masterpieces. They might not even be good in any way, but keep at it, my friend, and you will get there. guarantee it. Like eventually, you'll pick up new skills. You'll learn new tricks, and you'll slowly but surely make some progress. Yeah, I've got 2 armies now. I've got some models for a Chaos Space Marine force, but not really an army. I've got a big Eldar army now, and I've got my Primaris Marines for 40k. But, I'm looking forward, once I've got sort of some stuff out of the way for Age of Sigma to start what we want to do. That's actually a really good summarization of it. Soren is a great hobbyist and full of good insight, and is a damn good painter himself. But yeah, it's a pretty good summarization of it. Like you'll get there, man. I guarantee it. You will get there eventually, where you want to be, and that's the thing. You've got to find where you want to be as well. It's not just about getting better. It's like, where are you happy? See, I don't really paint anything to competition standard. I don't really paint anything to a higher standard ever. I have a few models that I painted to that higher standard. I put out my slightly above tabletop army, and I'm happy for it. Yeah, you will get there, Marvarian. It just takes practice, and it takes lots of practice. Yeah, and so my big thing with hobby is I try and do something every day. Half an hour a day. Just sit at your desk half an hour and put paint on a model. What was it? There's a really good one going around with your hobby challenge for today, and your daily hobby challenge should be to put paint on your brush. If you sit down at your desk, put paint on your brush every day, you'll get into the habit of doing more. And that could be some days it could be dip your brush in the paint and do nothing more than that. And then, but once you've got your brush on the paint, your paint on the brush, you're just maybe I should do some more with maybe you should use that. But you don't always have to. Skaven are great to practice on. Privateers are as well, because privateers have got a bit more detail, but also got some really nice textured layers that you can do a lot with. The cloaks are a great way to practice. Painting for me is just a wind down after a day. I'm a chef by day. My job is naturally stressful. I have 2 kids, young. I've got 2 under 2. And so painting is just a de-relaxing thing for me. I just sort of put paint on a brush and I just get going. The hobby streams on Wednesday keep me honest. So I challenge you, Marvarian, for something. Next week, all I want you to have done is have done something more is progressed. Have more done next week, this time on this hobby hangout, and tell me what you've done on your next hobby hangout since we've had this. It doesn't matter how much, whether it's painting the cloak on one dude or painting the rest of your privateer army. I don't care what it is. All I want is you to come back next Wednesday and tell me something you've done. I don't care if it's painting a single sword. But come back next week and have done something on those models. And that'll be a success. You know what? If you keep coming back every week, we'll make these challenges harder and harder as we go. We'll give you a little bit more that week, a little bit more the week after, a little bit more the week after that. But for this week, all I want you to have done by this time next week is something, anything on those models. I'll see you back next week to chat about that. And yes, that is a Chelsea mug. Go the Blues. Blue is the colour and football is the game. I'd sing the celery song, but that might get me demonetized. And if you don't know what the celery song is, go look up Chelsea FC celery. Well, I mean, as a Chelsea fan, I love West Ham because your best player ever is our best player ever. Always be thankful that you sold us Frank Lampard. See, I reckon I support American football more than do. I probably know more about American football than you do, Soren. It's weird. Like, I got into American football because, like, of chef life. I generally don't get to watch my own country sport because I'm working during that time. So I either get to watch English football. I'm just a massive football fan. I played international level juniors football before I did my knee in a couple of times, and that was the end of that. But yeah, American football's on in the mornings before I start work, so that's where I started watching American football and why I started watching it. And all I can say is go Seahawks. They're the team. I watched my first Super Bowl. I'm like, I'm going to go for the team that loses this, so no one thinks I'm a bandwagoner. Little did I know the Seahawks had won the Super Bowl the year before. I didn't realize that they were the team at the moment. And hey, Purple Angel, hope you're doing well, friend. Just put paint on a model. My variant, my advice, if you've got some models for an army, yeah. See, my big one that I threw away was I generally don't watch normal TV series anymore. I'm a man who indulges a lot in my hobbies, I guess. But it helps that they're my wife's pretty geeky as well, so it's sort of bonding time for us as well. So we're both really into professional wrestling and WWE and stuff like that. And so that's sort of our bonding time. We can watch that together. And that's a bit of that hobby. And so I just have so many hobbies. Warhammer's a big part, but I'm a big sports fan of multiple sports. Probably American football, football itself, soccer, and Australian rules football are probably the three major sports I sort of follow. I do follow UFC sort of, I guess, but massive wrestling fan and gaming, and I'm a big Pokemon fan as well. Little known fact about me, I used to play international level Pokemon. So that takes up time as well. So they're all sort of my hobbies that I try and do. Pokemon I go in and out of at the moment. I'll probably get back into it in a little bit when the new game expansions come out. Wrestling I go in and out of, depends on how much time me and the wife get together. We generally watch that though a lot. And yeah, Soren's got a good definitely if you're struggling, go for Sylvaneth are in a pickle at the moment. I won't lie and sugarcoat it. But if you really how much do you like the models? Because there are, yeah, something low model count would be a great idea. I mean, you could do Sylvaneth, low model count Sylvaneth. It's definitely not the most competitive army out there, but Kurnoth Hunters are a thing. big Kurnoth Hunter army. Storing your Sylvaneth on that sort of note, if you really get serious about getting into like tournaments and stuff like that and traveling like big distances, and really worrying about transporting them a lot, definitely look into Magna Racks. Yeah, and Soren's got definitely a good piece of advice, like paint an army you like the troops of, because if you don't like the basic units, you're not going to enjoy painting them. Like Daughters of Cain, like you'll be painting a lot of Witch Elves in Daughters, or even if you go like the snake route, you'll be painting a lot of snakes. And yes, I know it's you, Tom. Yeah, even if you go the snake route in Daughters of Cain, you'll be painting a lot of snakes still. Even the snakes aren't that elite. But there's ways you can make Daughters go together pretty quickly. Contrast with skin will help you a lot. But that's like a 2,000 point army. Like if you want to get playing, start with 1,000 points. Don't worry about 2,000 points. Start with 1,000. Most people will play 1,000 point games with you if you say, I want to play 1,000 points. And no. Definitely not 1,000. Soren's definitely talking about 2,000 points, which is generally the most common game size, but people will play 1,000 if that's what you want to play. If you're on 1,000 points, like Daughters, you can easily only have to paint 30 Daughters of Cain. And yeah, like you could paint some really quick skin with contrast. And the cool thing about contrast, you can use that as a base and you can go back later and make your skin better. Contra, I really like Gulliman Flesh. You'll want either Korax White or one of the contrast sprays. Marathi is a lot of work. However, there is a full tutorial. Now, if you're struggling to paint, follow tutorials. This is a great tip. You can really get yourself along because you know where you're at when you're doing a tutorial. And Games Workshop have a full tutorial done by Chris Peach. for Marathi. Following a tutorial will just help you see where you're at and give you like a progress shot, and you're knowing what you're doing, where you're going towards. Yeah. Well, funny you should say that your favorite color is red, because there's a temple called Hagnar in Daughters of Cain, the Battle Tome, and that is a red Daughters of Cain army, and is actually the colors Marathi wears because it's her particular like main sort of temple. So I believe there's color schemes in the Daughters of Cain book for Hagnar. But you could simply follow the color guide that it's going to show you. It'll give you an end goal, show you where you're at, and generally be quite a big help. Oh, the chair is making some weird noises. Blood Energy Contrast is really nice. Oh yeah, this was something else I picked up this week as well. Look what I have to paint. I can't wait to get to paint these dudes. I've got a Star Collecting plus Volturnus. Some eels. I can't wait to paint these dudes up. So now on the dark scheme, we're going to do a heavier dry brush of Rhinox Hide to start with, to bring back that sort of first base tone. So we're simply just going to go down in a downwards motion, because it's going to make sure it picks out the top. Yeah, you can. I was just suggesting, like, if you have red and stuff like that, Hagnar would be a good color scheme to follow, because it would be a great way just for you to have an idea. Also, following a scheme following like one of the GW schemes can help just show you like how to paint, if that makes sense. By following their steps, you'll sort of pick up like, oh, so this is why I do this and this, and you can sort of start to see the colors come about properly. Yes, you can totally paint your models however you want. It was more referring to the color scheme. Yeah, no. It's not saying like you have to paint it that way to get those rules. It's more that color scheme is red, and you said you liked red, so it could be a great way just to sort of help you get over this first sort of hurdle, if that makes sense. Just by following their scheme, you'll learn things. Even I do it now. I've been painting for a while. I mean, I'm no fantastic painter, but I've been doing it for a while, and I find it just, when I'm getting stuck on doing things, it helps me to have to paint the scheme I've got to follow. This gives me an end sort of goal. See, I think you could do red clothes with red hair because their clothes are minimal. They've got a tabard and boots. Like, you could do the boots as leather, and the belt is leather, and then have the cloth, like the loincloth and the underwear and hair all as red. I don't think it would look wrong or out of place. I don't think your red would be too overly dominant either. Another reason I suggested Hagnar as well is that scheme I'm talking about from Marathi. There's a like hour and something long tutorial to painting her. Is done in the Hagnar colours as well. Yeah, like you see what they're wearing. Like the point being, like, I think you can have the hair and the clothing the same color. I've got a quite plentiful amount of witch elves that I need to paint up. I gave up on that. It's too hard to put my whole collection away, Tom. Oh. I feel good having like stuff like that where like my stuff's painted and it's on display. Makes me want to paint more. Oh yeah. So I'm guessing you're from the UK, obviously, my very like talking about football with you and stuff. So like, how did like COVID lead to you getting involved in Warhammer? Oh, it's something to. Yeah, I mean, you've got a great community in the UK. I know a bunch of dudes over in the UK. They're just absolutely great. So yeah, having things on display. Also, getting a new display case is a great way to get yourself painting. As soon as you got a display case that doesn't have models in it, you're just like, I need to feel that. So I've now moved a lot of my stuff off the big white shelf over onto like this behind me. I've still got to paint those underworlds. It's just there while I'm sitting there. And I've got to rebase some of the gauze behind me. But the idea is to fill this up with models, painted. Eventually, stuff will start getting shifted from here over to there. That's fair enough, man. That's actually laid off. I'm pretty lucky with where I am in Australia. I'm from South Australia, so we got off pretty scot-free with COVID, to be fair. We're pretty much ready to open like completely back up. There's been no new COVID cases where I am for almost 3 weeks. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, the hobby's a good thing. You get there. You just got to persevere, man. It's like picking anything up. You've got to learn the new skills that you need for it. So, yeah. For your note, my variant, I do these hobby hangouts every Wednesday. So it's my Wednesday currently, obviously. That's what you've got. Yeah, that is the biggest step. And believe me, I was there. I think we've all been there before, where you see someone else's work and you're just like, man, I can't do that. But like you will improve over time, and that's all you got to do. You just got to keep going at it, and you will get better and better. But yeah, just practice, practice, practice. Same as anything, you'll get there, man. You will. Yeah. Every mini you'll feel that a little bit better about, and every mini you'll be able to say, "Oh, I did this like a little bit better this time." I mean, I honestly only really started painting minis properly, say 3 or 4 years ago, and now all of a sudden I can smash out a 2,000 point army to a above tabletop standard in 10 days. Right. Once you get past that initial hurdle that there is, and this goes for anything in Warhammer, there's always that first bump. That first bump is the biggest one you've got to get over. Once you get over that first bump, you'll fly through the next bump and fly over the next one. Daughters of Cain are really fun. Like, you've got a good army that's not oppressive in any way. Like, they're strong. And I was talking about this at the top of the show. Daughters of Cain, like, a strong army is not a bad thing. People don't like armies that are oppressive and over the top and, for lack of a better term, broken. Daughters of Cain are certainly not broken. They are good. Like, they are really good even. But they're fun to play against because all their rules are combat orientated. Shooting armies can sometimes be a real negative play experience in AOS because it's a combat game and people want to fight. But I think Doc are a lot of fun to play against because they want to go and fight you and you want to fight them. Yeah. I enjoy playing against Daughters of Cain a lot. Oh. But yeah, I think all right. Mm-hmm. Right, there's always a bad army in the game. Like, something always has to be on top, and that's like an important thing to understand. Talking about armies, like, don't get put off by battle reports. Like, Mini Wargaming put out some really high quality production value battle reports and stuff, and they can't be knocked for that. They're not the most competitive and channel. If that's the sort of gaming you're looking to get into, Mini Wargaming are not the one to look into for competitive. They're much more sort of fun, friends playing Warhammer games. If you're looking to get into going to like a tournament or an event or something like that, there's other channels out there that'll sort of support that. It all depends what you want to do. Pardon me. I'd recommend Daughters of Cain. He has some good battle report. Doom and Darkness should actually have a few on his channel playing one of my friends. And if you're looking for casual games, like Daughters are fine. Honestly, most people I know play more casually, and Daughters never are an issue. But yeah, I don't think you'll have an issue collecting Daughters. No. And that's fine. Like it's just it's a question to ask because it means like you want to search for different things. I'd check out a channel called Rerolling Ones. They're fantastic. I don't know if they've got a lot of Daughters of Cain stuff on, but Rerolling Ones is great. They're a good bunch of mates of mine. They definitely take things a lot more lighthearted. So yeah, Rerolling Ones. Well, the plan is to have battle reports on this channel soon, so hopefully we should have them coming up soon enough. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to hop off for the night. I've got to go do some stuff before the football tonight. But thank you very much, everyone, for coming and watching. It's been great chatting to everyone. We will be back here at the same time next week. And also next week as well on Monday night, we'll have the Age of Sigmar Soulbound live stream going on. I'll pop up that on the channel in a sec. But special thanks as well to everyone who supports the channel via Patreon. You guys are amazing. There's a link to the Patreon down below if you wish to support in any way. That helps fund the channel, keep the streams going, keep the channel producing content, allowing for the giveaways, and helping run events that I run as well. But thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you all again real soon. Don't forget to hit like on whatever you're watching on, and subscribe to the YouTube channel because that's awesome if you do. But I'll catch you all real soon. Ciao for now. I'll see you all later.